So if you're in the market for an electric vehicle which must have a hatchback and must have a tow bar, your choices start getting a little bit limited. But with me today, I've got three cars that all qualify for that. Tesla Model Y, BMW i4 and a Polestar. So in this video, I'm going to give you some of my opinions and comparisons between each of these three cars. So yes, hello, welcome. My name is Richard Simons. I just want to make the most of this opportunity whilst we have each of these three cars here at our showroom. So let's start off with what each car here that we have. This is a Tesla Model Y dual motor long range. We don't have a standard range example here, and the performance model isn't available until much later in the year. So this is currently the only version available. This particular example has the upgraded 20-inch wheels and the white interior, which both add a little bit to the £58,000 base price, which would get you 19-inch wheels, black interior, and this white paintwork. Tesla don't give exact numbers, but it's got a bit over 80 kilowatt hours gross battery with, we've tested this, range tested 76 kilowatt hours usable capacity, and Teslas are well known for just having really good efficiency. So this is a great long distance, very practical family car. Then we've got the BMW i4. This particular example is an i4 M50 with quite a few of the options on it, which take it to £75,000. But a base i4 rear-wheel drive e-drive is starting from £52,500. They all have the same battery, which is nearly 84 gross and about 80 usable kilowatt hours of capacity. So again, a compelling mixture, conflicting looks. I know it divides many opinions. It's probably one of the only cars that sometimes many would agree look better with a front number plate. But it's a compelling car in its own right, and I'll give you some comparisons of the space and size in a minute. And this is a Polestar 2, so again, a hatchback and available with a tow bar. So there's a few options with this at the moment. You can get a single motor, two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, or you can get a dual motor, four-wheel drive. Two battery packs, 78 kilowatt hours gross, about 75 usable, or it's about 64 kilowatt hours gross, about 61 usable kilowatt hours there. Prices on these, well, they start from £42,000, but take a few of the extras, the options, the dual motor, the performance and a tow bar, and you're well over £60,000 for one of these. So none of these are particularly cheap cars, but they're all capable of long distances and fast charging. But let's give you some comparisons now on the pros and cons that I like of each one. So let's start off with the front storage space. A lot of electric cars have extra storage in the front here. Tesla certainly being one of the class leaders in this example. So the Model Y's got a nice, deep, practical plastic tray in the front here. And I found this really useful for putting in sandy shoes or muddy wellies, anything like that, because it's just a plastic tray, and certainly for storing cables and such like. It's a really nice, practical, usable space. The BMW i4 is a massive long bonnet, surely loads of space. Nope, just loads of plastic, and under there is just nothing you can use for storage. It's just not an engine, but some stuff. And the Polestar's got a nice little storage area, so certainly enough for some cables to be stored in here. And there's a toolkit underneath there. Not quite enough to put your muddy wellies in, plus it's carpeted, so you wouldn't really want to do that, but certainly for cable storage, very convenient. As for boot space, the Model Y is vast, nice big wide opening, plus you've got loads of storage underneath here. You can get bags and lunch boxes and cables and all that kind of stuff, so plenty of space under there, plus space under there as well. Let's have a look at some measurements, shall we? So we've got in the middle there, we've got 109 centimetres to there, and the narrowest bit inside, we've got 95 centimetres there. And quite a nice big square opening. If I want to fold the seats, I can do this. Plus, I've also got a split fold rear seat in three sections, so just the middle section can be folded, or you can fold everything down like that. And indeed, I've even slept in one of these because you've got camping mode, it leaves the heating on. And I slept beautifully with a single airbed in here, no problem at all. Vastly practical. So the BMW is the only car here with a foot sensor, which usually works actually, once or twice. I had a box in my hand and I didn't work, but like all foot sensors, it can be temperamental, but normally works pretty well. I like the way the parcel shelf here folds up with the tailgate. Just leaves a little segment here which you can easily remove. What have we got for size? We've got 99 centimetres in length there, and at the narrowest part we have about 89, maybe 90 centimetres at a push in width there. I guess up to there, what have we got there? 47 centimetres. I don't have a power release for the seats, but like the Tesla Model Y, they are split three-way and you can just fold the middle section, so I like that, that's really handy. There's not really any space underneath though. I've got room there just for just one small pack of cables, but the rest of that is taken up by the Harman Kardon subwoofer that this car has. Maybe if you don't have that, you've got a slightly bigger underfloor storage area there. Other than that, just a little bit of storage to each side at the back. Actually, I lied. The Polestar can have a foot opening sensor as well. My apologies there. If you paused the video and started writing comments already, I'm so sorry. So this has got one large parcel shelf here, which again you can remove, of course. Pretty nice wide opening. It's got a quite a high sill and lip here. Good storage space underneath here, so a couple of soft bags would go in there quite easily. Nice little stand here to hold that section up if you want. And then you've got a boot divider, kind of flappy thing that folds up like that. Elastic strap, so you can put some things in there. So very well thought out. Let's have a look. We've got just over 1 meter in length there, and the width there, just over 1 meter. Height up to the parcel shelf, just over 40 centimeters. So we've got a kind of 70-30, 60-40 split folding rear seat, but there is a little ski hatch there as well. So as long as it's something small and go through the ski hatch, that's also very practical. This one doesn't have a tow bar itself, but if you do have a tow bar, I think you hit a button and it kind of releases down, and then you just pop it up into, there's the power tailgate function, and then you release your tow bar and clip it into place here. Okay, so the BMW i4 wins the tow bar deployment contest here because I just touch a button in the boot and it's fully electric, so it folds itself out. Takes a little bit of time, but it locks itself into place all electronically, so you don't need to touch this and get your dirty hands at all in any way. And I like the way the little 13-pin socket is attached to it here. Never used it yet, but I like that, that's good. So the Model Y wins and loses in a couple of points here. One is any Model Y, you can just book a service appointment with Tesla and have a tow bar fitted, so it doesn't have to be factory specified. However, what you then get is a separate tow bar that you have to detach this plastic panel, so kind of pull that out and then clip your tow bar in. And so it's better than the Model 3s where you used to kind of get up under here, but you do have to hitch it up and attach it yourself. The earlier Tesla Model Ys didn't have any parcel shelf or load cover, but the new one's being delivered from now on, so we're in June 2022, and the current batch seem to have parcel shelves. Personally, not too bothered. You've got dark tip windows, often parcel shelves just go in the garage and get lost, but the new ones now do have it. I don't know exactly the height of that parcel shelf, but roughly speaking, let's take this line here. The height between floor and parcel shelf is about 40 centimeters. Without it though, it's quite a nice high roof line here, so you've got nearly 50 centimeters at that point there of load height, so it's a pretty deep boot. Okay, so we're getting used to the interior of the Tesla now. It's probably one of the most radical when it came out because it's just so minimal, but I love the interior of the Model Y. It's a nice entry into the car, nice height of the seat. You've got a really good view. It's so notable just how low the dashboard is, big windscreen. You can really see the road down there in front of you. And then you've got obviously a nice, simple to use, big screen in the middle. A lot of people find it a bit weird that there's no dials right in front of you here, but your speedo is right there. So I've never found it a problem, just takes kind of a day of getting used to. And then one of the great things I love about a Tesla Model Y, it just has 2 wireless phone chargers right here. Just put your phone down straight away there, and your passenger can as well. We've got a very large storage compartment in here, 2 practical cup holders, and a really good big practical storage space in there. Nice high armrest then when that's closed, and a really nice driving position. And what I'm going to do is make sure the seat is in my position, and I'll show you the space in the rear as a result. Okay, let's jump in the back. And this is the rear space, so again, nice easy access, just tons of legroom. Look, I can sort of even stretch out like that if I needed to, and get my feet right under the seats in front. Loads of knee room, loads of headroom, big glass roof, which they all have, so that lets loads of light in. I love this white interior, don't be afraid of it, even with families and animals. It just wipes clean, it's nice and easy to look after. And then you can see here we've got a centre armrest we can pull down. But this is a super comfortable place to be. Couldn't really get any more spacious. So top marks for the back of the Model Y. So the interior of the i4 is really quite a different thing. Really solid, nice door closure. Feel of premium in here, absolutely. You know, this uses real leather and that feels good. You've got different choices of trim. So this has got the carbon trim pack. Lovely stitching around the steering wheel here. It's a very different feel. I mean, this is obviously shares a platform with ICE cars, so there's petrol diesel ones with gearboxes, so you've got some of that kind of compromise and share with those cars there. The windscreen actually feels quite close and quite much smaller than the Model Y, but in this example I've got a head-up display, big wide screen here, and the native system's pretty good to use. You can customize widgets on the screen here, so you'll get used to that. Obviously quite a lot of buttons compared to the Tesla. It feels much more cosseted. One slight thing I'm getting with the i4 is that I can't kind of move my left foot over as much as I'd quite like, because this has got this kind of central transmission tunnel, which the next car to production on might have a gearbox in. It just kind of compromises the foot space, so it's okay. What you do get though is loads of seat adjustments. So I've got some adjustable thigh support there, which I really like. Lumbar support, the side bolsters can adjust in and out on this example here as well. And so it's much more cosseted, but it is a nice car to be in, really feels premium, and I find it really quite a pleasant car to drive. But I'll come on to that in a bit about how they all drive. The central transmission tunnel legacy carries over here as a compromise. So it's got one wireless phone charger there. Okay, one, that's fine. But if you do have anything in the cup holder here, i.e. cups, you then can't get to your phone, which obviously you're not going to do whilst you're driving, but isn't it fiddly? My wife was trying to get her phone out of here the other day. It's just a bit awkward and fiddly and compromised because of this space available here. And again, this central compartment here, perfectly usable, but nowhere near as big as you get in the Model Y. What I do quite like is just having manually adjustable vents like that. So the back of the i4, it's a smaller opening to get into, but now that I'm into it, what's it like? Well, it's okay. Again, I've got that issue where the floor and the seat are a little bit close together, so my knees are up, and I can't readily get my feet under the seat in front with my seating position. So again, I've put the seat into my position. I'm okay for headroom. It's much darker because I don't have the glass roof, sunroof option in this car. But once you're in, it's okay. It's obviously not as wide. It's obviously not as big. I do get climate controls in the rear, so separate climate controls in the rear, which is great. But again, transmission tunnel in here, so the floor isn't completely flat, and that would make a third person, even a kid in the back here, a little bit awkward. Also, we took a friend out the other day trying to put a car seat in, quite a big bulky car seat, and that was a little bit awkward to then get the seat belt round and clipped in here. But that's because it didn't have Isofix. The car does have Isofix in the back, of course. And again, a cup holder, armrest and cup holder that pop down in the middle here. So it's clearly much smaller than the Model Y. My knees are up. I wouldn't want to do sort of cross-continent journey too readily in this, but you could easily spend a couple of hours in here. And then the Polestar's very different again, completely different style to it. So we've got kind of textures and different materials going on here. Again, a very cosseted feel, even more so than the BMW, I think. We've got quite a high dashboard and a very high central tunnel here. So the view here, it's okay. It's a bit like the BMW. It's obviously much smaller than the Model Y, but it's okay. It just has a very different feel and much more enclosed than the other two. Easy to get a nice seating position. The Volvo seats are very good, again with adjustable thigh support, which I do like to have. No adjustable side bolsters, and definitely not as bolstered as those seats in that BMW, but it's a nice place to be. I think these are made out of recycled fish nets or something, which is nice to know. I've got one wireless phone charger which just drops down in here. I quite like that, easy to put in, and you can't see your phone at all whilst you're driving. A little bit of storage here, but there's one thing I found personally, and it probably wouldn't affect other people, but when I'm driving the Polestar, this kind of central thing here, my left knee kind of bangs against that a little bit, which can be annoying, but that's me probably and my knobbly knees. But I do have a good amount of pedal space there for my feet. A little bit of storage in there, door bins, and a cup holder there and a cup holder there. So actually not much for bigger storage in here, but a very pleasant place to be actually. I like the design elements and I like the materials. Glass roof, little reflection of the Polestar emblem at the top there. So it has some nice touches about it, and it's quite a conventional layout. You know, you've got one cluster there and a central screen here, which is very easy to use, but I will come on to the software in a moment. Right, in the back of the Polestar, so a moderate opening. It's a little bit tight to get your feet through the gap there. With this seat in my seating position, I don't really have any scope to get my feet underneath, but I'm okay. I'm quite good for knee room, and the gap between the seat and the floor is okay. Nice light cabin. I like the glass roof, but it does feel like this here is kind of quite on the side of my head, so I could easily sort of have a nap like that, but that's a little bit enclosed there. central transmission tunnel. What's that about? So again, it's got this big block in the way here. Why is this not just a flat floor? So again, a middle person would struggle in here. No separate climate controls, but easy to use vent set, and I do have heated seats in the back of this one. Let's have a look at the armrest. So again, little armrest, 2 cup holders there. I could spend a bit of time here, it's okay. It's, again, nowhere near as big as the Model Y, but the Model Y is quite exceptional in its class with the space that it does have, but it's all right. Okay, so the Polestar with your key in your pocket, jump in the car, foot on the brake, you can just engage drive, reverse, and the car starts and comes alive. So the Polestar Infotainment System, I think is very good actually. I really like it. It just uses very simple Google mapping, but again, it means you can just do easy searches with just names, not necessarily needing to know the full address and postcodes and that kind of thing. Nice, easy to use, very well integrated for Android Auto. You can customize your apps and widgets on here. It's a very nice system to use. Sound system, Harman Kardon. It's pretty good, isn't it? I mean, Gint's in the back there. You rate the Polestar sound system quite highly?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Tesla Model Y or Polestar?
Model Y.
Model Y. Then the Polestar, then the BMW Harman Kardon?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That's the sound system summary. So in here, yeah, nice, easy to use infotainment system with good integration for Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but native system very good as well. Okay, BMW. You can have the key in your pocket. You have to press the start-stop button to stop the car, but you can also use your phone to get into the car and then just put your phone in there on the charging tray, which then can use Apple Wallet to start the car. So you don't necessarily actually need to have a key on you. This big wraparound screen here is it's okay. I find, look at the graphics here on the navigation, it's a bit primitive. The native navigation is a bit primitive, and you can customize kind of the widgets that are on here quite a lot, so it's all okay. Again, if you go to the menu system, there's quite a lot of things to press here, but I actually quite like having the iDrive system to be able to scroll around and not necessarily always had to prod a screen whilst you're driving, and you know, you go over a bump and you miss it. So I actually quite like having this. And of course we have in this case Apple CarPlay in this car, and one of the good things with this is how well Apple CarPlay does integrate. So again, I can still use the iDrive controller to scroll around the screen even with all the kind of menu system you've got here. Plus this car's got head-up display. But when you go to Apple CarPlay and say use Apple Maps, that will also work on the display in front of me here and embed into the head-up display as well. So a lot of cars, if you don't use the native navigation, it doesn't work in this display here or in the head-up display, but it does in this car. So that I like. And I think if it didn't have such good Apple CarPlay integration, you would find the native software a little bit clumsy, a little bit slow, a little bit laggy, but it does the job. And I have to say, using the iDrive controller to navigate around, I actually quite like that. I find it quite easy, and sometimes even put in little bits of screen. So actually, when you get used to it, I find it quite good. So you can use your phone as a key with the BMW, which I don't think you can with the Polestar. I'll happily stand corrected if so. And actually, let me point something out whilst we're talking about keys. The Polestar key, okay, it's keyless entry and a start, but it's just like, it's like a 1980s TV remote control. So I find that a little bit of a shame. So you can use your phone as a key with a BMW, but whereas a Tesla, you just walk up, open the door, close the door, walk away. The BMW, you do have to go like this with your phone. It has to be right at this location here, then you can open and close it. So you do have to get your phone out of the pocket. It's a shame it's not like the Tesla. One thing you do notice with the BMW, door closure. Solid. Don't know if that picks up on the microphone, but it feels like a nice solid door closure. Pretty solid door closure. I like how you just put your foot on the brake and the car starts. You just have to get used to the fact that with the Tesla, everything is on the one screen here. But it works brilliantly. It really does. I've got absolutely no problem with this at all. I know some people find it a little bit hard to adjust to, but it's very quick, super responsive. No problem there at all. And then one of the key things you can do with the Tesla is if you just say, right, I'm going to go to Edinburgh, it will just very nicely plan a route out for you. It shows you where you're going to be charging and how long you're going to be there for roughly. And it will change that. If you're driving and you're a bit more efficient, it can go to another charger. It will do indeed. But just that works so much better. You just can't use the native navigation, either the Polestar or the BMW, to rely on your charging stops anywhere near as easily. I think with those two cars, you definitely have to think, okay, where's that taking me? Actually, I'm better off stopping here and doing maybe, just a bit of background check first to get the best out of your routing. I mean, I had a case with the Polestar, and the BMW is exactly the same, where it wanted to stop at the single 50 kilowatt charger, the motorway services, an old unit. Just down the road is a Shell recharge, and it's much quicker, much faster. But the car just didn't know about it. So the Tesla wins that hands down, and just see how easy the supercharging network is and how plentiful it is to use all through Europe means I would literally jump in this car now, say I want to go to Rome, and I would head there. So navigate to Rome. I've only got 69% of the battery here now, but you can see here it will very quickly plan out something for me there. I was going to add that to the route because I was already on Edinburgh. So we go to Edinburgh and Rome. You can see here it's going to plan out a whole trip. There you go, done. And it's just reassuring, it's just easy. You can get in this without having to think or pre-plan at all. And then of course you've got a few games and toys and gimmicks. Dog mode, very handy, love having that. So you can have a message on the screen to say that the dog's in the car but the car's at the right temperature. Not to worry, it's actually convenient. The way this works is kind of nice. I do like just having a vent and be able to move it, but this is also just easy to adjust the vent position and angle there. And of course then we've got things like theatre. So generally I would say this isn't actually massively useful, but for me, I sit outside my daughter's dance lesson for an hour each Monday, and so I can just go on YouTube or Netflix and just watch something for a little bit, all the while the air conditioner or heating's running, and so it's great. So for me, for the software, Tesla wins that one. Then the Polestar is excellent, second to only the Tesla. The BMW is pretty average, and I think feels dated compared to the other two by quite a long way. So let's also talk about apps quickly. So the app for Tesla is great. It works brilliantly, it opens and loads very fast, and you can switch between different cars if you've got more than one Tesla very easily there. I can easily start the air conditioning. I can even, with a Tesla, look at, I can book a service, but I can even do things like look at the cameras from around the car from anywhere. So I can enable Sentry Mode, look at the live view of the cameras even if I'm halfway around the world. Not something you use all the time, but let's say your alarm was triggered, at least you could look at your car even if you were nowhere near it and see whether it had been hit by something or somebody was just hanging around it. And this always is evolving and developing nicely. The preheating works well, turn the heated seat on, the steering wheel on. It just all works very well. Let's switch to the BMW app, and here we have that. It opens up, uses Face ID, so it's a little bit slower to load, but that's okay. It does open up and connect to the car pretty well. It gives me some reasonable functions like the state of charge, and I can turn on the air conditioning or heating. You can also schedule charging like you can with a Tesla here, but it's just not as nice or as complete. As for the Polestar app, I don't have that, so I don't know. So we'll have to cut that bit a little bit short, but if you've got a Polestar, let me know in the comments below what you think of the app, what you'd like to see, what it does have that's good, and I'd like to read those and learn a little bit more about it. Quick bit about headlights. Polestar headlights, very, very good. LED, matrix LED, although I hear that there's a chip shortage stopping some of the matrix things on the new ones, unconfirmed. Don't shoot me down if that's wrong. Polestar headlights, excellent. BMW headlights, excellent. These ones here are actually BMW laser upgraded headlights, so they are pretty phenomenal. Fire the laser beam, they're really very, very good indeed. The Tesla has LED headlights, but we have no matrix function, no dynamic function, no cornering function, so they're okay, but out of these three, they're the worst. So the Tesla loses out a point there. Ride comfort, dampers. So the Polestar, this one here is the performance with the big wheels, and that's got a firmer suspension setup, but they are actually adjustable Öhlins dampers. I mean, Öhlins is a very top quality damper company. By adjustable though, you do have to climb underneath and adjust them. If you have them on firmer, these are pretty hard cars, but you can soften them off, and the conventional Polestar 2 without these big wheels and regular suspension is a pretty comfortable car. It's okay, it's pretty good. The Bmw i4, I can only speak for the i4 M50 that I have here. This does have adjustable damper settings in the car. You've got sport or comfort, so electronically adjustable dampers. coil suspension at the front, air suspension at the back on this example, but even this one with these big 20-inch wheels is a pretty comfortable ride. It's a very comfortable and refined cruiser and absorbs most of those bumps. You have a firmness to it, but it handles it really well and doesn't intrude into the cabin or crash around and shake you around. The Tesla Model Y. I said before in the Model Y, it is a tad on the firm side here. No adjustable dampers. It's coil suspension all round, so there's no adjustments with the suspension at all with a Tesla. And it is a bit on the firm side. I mean, it's a fast car with quite a lot of power. It does need to have body control. I think when my point always is that you do get used to it. It's okay, and certainly on the motorway I find it fine, but just around town on some of the country roads, it's a bit firm, as I always say. I would just like to see the non-performance cars, like the long range we have here, just be a little bit softer. Performance car, fine. But the non-performance should just be a little bit softer. It should be one of the distinguishing features. And we have found before that with the Model 3, a long-range Model 3 and a performance Model 3 basically feel the same. You can't really tell them apart. So it'd be nice if there was a distinguished difference, and that's maybe why you bought the performance one. So it's okay, but it loses a point again in this test. Okay, so that's a brief run through and some comparisons. And let me give you a little sum up of each one and then round this video up. So Tesla Model Y, brilliant for space, practicality, easily by far the most spacious in the back. So for rear passengers and for storage and sheer volume, it's brilliant. All in a package that I don't think is any longer than these two, so it doesn't feel it. The software is great, the technology is great, the app connectivity is great, the handling is great and it's very fast. One of the only real downsides for me is the ride could be softer and the headlights aren't the best. The Bmw i4, again, I can only really talk about this one, which is the i4 M50, brutally fast, a very refined cruiser, very quiet on the motorway. It is a car you can spend many hours in a day. It's not as efficient as a Tesla. A Tesla always wins efficiency. Even the Model Y is bigger and taller. You're talking 4 miles per kilowatt hour, more like 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So it's not as efficient. But it is a fantastic cruiser. It does have a sense of luxury. It does have a real good quality feel about it. It feels well made. Downside, compromises because of the shared platform. I mean, look, long bonnet, questionable front grille looks, although I'm starting to get used to that, to be fair. It has grown on me a lot, this car. I do like the shape of it. I like a lot about this car, so I'm not putting it down in any way. I think BMW have actually done quite well. I've warmed to this a lot, and I do like it. And again, for someone like me who spends a lot of time in the car on certain days, many hours, it's very good for that. I do like it. The seats are comfortable. Polestar. So I really like how the Polestar is just kind of really thought about and designed. I like its style, its design language is cool. They're all very different, these cars, aren't they? And I'd like to see your comments below. No need to slag off another one, just say which one you like, and why. But I like the design language with it. I like the touches, I like the materials inside. On the downside, again, it's just not as efficient as a Tesla. It just doesn't go as fast. So Polestar have been doing some software updates which have actually improved things like the charging speed. So it does okay, but you've got to bear in mind these two cars are more like up to about 250 miles, and the Tesla Model Y long range can do over 250 miles quite comfortably. See another video where we actually drove a Model Y until it died. Deliberately, by the way. We did it deliberately, but we covered 290 miles, and that's at motorway speeds where it's less efficient. So the Polestar, a very good, nice package. I feel a little bit hemmed in inside, my taste. That will suit other people possibly better. And it's just a nice design, thought out little package, and the way the software works is very good. So let's round this up. 3 hatchbacks, all available with tow bars. You've got to bear in mind when you're towing, by the way, you've got to allow for about half the range that you would normally get with these cars. So for long distance towing across Europe with a caravan, that would probably not be brilliant, but certainly for shorter distances, taking your boat down to the launch or something like that, absolutely no problem. So let's round this up a little bit then. 3 very different cars, I think. So it's going to be a matter of horses for courses, isn't it, as they say. They all look very different. Which one do you prefer? What do you prioritise inside? It's about what you prefer and what you like. Nice design, some good pricing, questionable design, but I'm growing to like it, but luxury, definitely the most spacious and practical, slightly firm ride. So I hope that's been useful. We can't cover every single nook and cranny in detail, but if you've got each of these cars, or one of each of these cars, do let us know in the comments below the bits you like about it, because then that'll make nice reading for everybody else who's watching the video and can see what we've got. Like I said, I don't like the comments where people say, yeah, but the BMW is rubbish or this is rubbish. It's about horses for cause, what, you know, as I say, what people need and prioritise for themselves. So write what you like about each one. Be a bit more positive in the comments, that'd be appreciated. So that's it for now. We'll round that video up. I hope that's been useful, hope it's been interesting, and we'll see you on another one hopefully. Stay subscribed, hit the bell icon for notifications. See you next time. Hey everyone, thanks for watching our videos. If you like our content and want to see more, don't forget to not only subscribe but also hit the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any new videos as they're uploaded. Plus, we're also on Instagram, just look up R Simons or RSEV. We're on Facebook and Twitter. So lots of news, stories and things as we go on each one of those channels.